Welcome to the Roadmap to Secure Love. In today's episode, Kim and Kyle discuss how past relationship wounds can sabotage present love and what it takes to truly feel safe again. Let's dive in.
So we hurt in relationships. And when we are in romantic relationships and we're dating and there's been pain, there's been relationships that we've broken up with that hasn't worked out. They've been unhealthy. And then we start a new relationship. And that relationship is different. It's better. It's good. It's healthy. All the things we've wanted. But still, that old story kind of creeps in of the old pain. And instead of looking at the partner that's in front of us, that we have a great relationship with, that old story and that old pain kind of seeps in to our current relationship and can cause conflict.
Yeah, it does. It's like the ghost of our past, right? And
The
there's a
ghost of our past.
right, and there's a funny thing with just therapy. We often say the past isn't the past; it always comes with us, right? Especially if we haven't healed it, right? Especially if we haven't done some really inner work to change it on the inside. And so we can find ourselves in relationships with our partners, new partners communicating a lot better, right? They're showing up more consistently, or they're not being abusive in other ways, and that can our brain can go, "This is nice," but also like, "Oh, what is this?" Right? And we can start to be a little on edge, even with those things.
Yeah. And then so what do we do about that? Because it's human, right? When we've been hurt in relationships, and this could be with friendships too, but we're talking right now about intimate romantic relationships, where we kind of come in, we've been hurt before, and now we're in this new relationship and our guard is up and we kind of see everything through that same lens. You're going to do that to me too. Lens.
Right, which is, I mean, that's the protection, right? I don't want to get hurt like this again, so I'm going to keep myself a little distant because I don't want this to recreate the same pain when I wasn't braced for it, right?
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense why we do it. The problem is that can get in the way of us having a more secure, healthy relationship with that other person. And so what we recommend is starting with that self-work, right? Really starting to understand, what are those pain points? What are
Mm,
those raw spots that got touched? What did it mean about you? How did it feel to
yeah.
have some of those experiences? I know from my personal life, when I was in a few relationships where I got cheated on, it was like I really saw myself as like worthless, like inadequate. And it would just, it made me overfunction, try to buy more flowers, try to buy more gifts, put myself in more debt, right? All to try to feel like I was enough. And I was constantly on edge as if someone was going to cheat again.
Mhm.
And so that was a very hard place to not, doing my own individual therapy, not jump to, let me keep pleasing and trying to show up as this great partner, and let me actually start to show up more authentically for myself and see if the relationship is good enough, not just for that person, but also a good enough relationship for me.
Mhm. So you got to heal yourself a little.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you've got to help kind of work on creating a secure self. And then what do we do in relationships? Because we can heal in relationships too. We hurt in relationships and we heal in relationships.
Right. And so when we're able to understand these pain points, we're able to understand these raw spots. Now, with our new partner, we can ask for some support,
Mhm.
right? We're able to be more vulnerable and open with them. Like with my current partner, when we first started dating, however long ago that was, right? I was somewhat transparent about, this was my history, right? As we got to a committed relationship, I was like, hey, I have been cheated on in multiple relationships. I had someone a week after we broke up getting married, and I think they were actually in that relationship the whole entire time we were together, right? And so that was crazy for me. And my partner was like, wow, how can we kind of work on this together? Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what was actually so healing, is like, hey, what I might need help with is I might get insecure and I might just text you and say, hey, I'm getting insecure. Can you just give me some reassurance? And she was able to do that. And my work on that is not to send her 900 text messages to verify the reassurance, but when I get that reassurance, really fight to take that in myself.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's also part of some of the blocks I had is I was told, no, there's nothing to worry about. Nothing's going on. And yet there was definitely things going on.
Yeah. That's beautiful, is that you turn to your partner for help, you tell them about the raw spots, and then they come and they comfort you. And then your work is to absorb that,
Yeah.
to let it touch you, to let it be enough.
Mhm. Yeah, to really let that it kind of move that pain so that I can make space for this new relationship I'm in. That my pain does matter and that we can do this differently. That when I get that reassurance, I can take it in, trusting that I do matter, trusting that I'm not worthless in this person's eyes.
Yeah. You know, what will also happen, I mean, yes, we heal in relationships, right? But we're also human. So the person who is in the relationship who hasn't done the hurt, but is seen through that lens, right? And is constantly being the healer, can get fed up
Mhm.
to be like, look, I didn't do that to you. I'm not your ex-partner. I haven't done those things. And I get it, but I'm kind of tired of being seen in that light.
Right.
What do you do with that?
I think this is the part where we talked about that receiving is like we have to be able to be open to seeing our partner as someone that they're different. They're different than our past ex or the past person who hurt us.
Mhm.
And we have to be able to really acknowledge that. Yep, you are different. And Kim, how do we work with them around that? How do we make space for what's going on for ourselves, but also make space to see this person who is there for us, even if they're starting to get annoyed about these raw spots, for it to be better for the relationship and for both partners.
I'm a big component or a big believer that we need to be more overt with our hearts and our intention. So, for example, if I've been hurt in other relationships and I see my new partner this way, I might say, I want to share with you a pain point that I have that I'm really struggling with that comes not from our relationship, the one that I struggled with.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, you are a wonderful partner. And you do this, and you do this, and you do this, and it really heals me.
Mhm.
Can we make some time to talk about where I'm struggling? I don't think we praise enough. I don't think I use the word praise. I don't mean praise. I mean acknowledge.
Mhm.
We don't acknowledge enough the good things that the people do for around us. And I think we need to be overt with that.
100%. And I think what you just demonstrated is one, owning our pain, owning the past in our relationships and how it impacts us today. But then you acknowledge what your partner does differently. And you gave them examples and talked about how wonderful they are, which soothes their fear of, oh, I'm being put in that spot where I'm being looked at through that filter.
Mhm.
Right. And then back to after that acknowledgement, here's the part I might need a little bit more help with.
Yeah. And there's actually science behind it. My husband's taking this wonderful course, right? So I'm going to steal some of his stuff. Um, and there's neurobiology around this,
Mhm.
where we stick with hard things longer than praise or good things. If you look at it, a lot of people, a lot of scientists will think it's an evolutionary thought process. It's like if the dinosaur, we got away from the dinosaur, we got away from the tiger. This time we can celebrate a little bit, but we have to be aware because he can come back.
Mhm.
So there's not a lot of time to just sit in the praise, in the celebration, in the good. We're constantly wired to be looking for the negative,
Mhm. Correct.
the threat. It's a primal instinct to keep us alive.
Which is again very human, but the problem is it doesn't get us to a place where we get to rest and celebrate.
So we've got to fight for it.
Mhm. How do we?
We've got to fight for it. We've got to be like, okay, there was a threat. I am afraid. I'm going to put both of my feet on the ground. I'm going to name what I'm feeling. I'm going to ask for help, and I'm going to acknowledge how my partner is different. And I'm going to have maybe even a talk within myself to say, Kim, it's okay to rest here. Sometimes we need to reparent ourselves if it's the childhood part of us that is being activated. Sometimes we have to be, the best friend, the girlfriend who's like, you're safe. Sometimes, to tell us like, it's okay to like move past this.
Right. Because when our bodies get to enter that place of safety, we know we have a lot more ability to access our brain. Our nervous system is more open to seeing the positive
Yeah.
and to really taking that in and letting it, again, not use the word move us, but really move that into a place of healing to where we can look at the world in a little bit more of a safer way.
Yeah. So when we have experienced a threat in relationships, can be a threat.
Mhm.
We've got to slow down. Our body's going to naturally go there because it's like protect, protect, protect. Put both feet on the ground. Talk to ourselves. Kimmy, you could do this. This is different. Talk to our partner. Hey, I'm scared. And then be overt with the positive. Acknowledge you are different. I appreciate you. I need you. It helps them continue to show up for us.
Which is what we need. We need them to do the great things they are doing, continue to do that. And that's what gives them reinforcement that they're doing it right, which is what so many romantic partners want to feel, that I'm doing it right for you. Like I'm making the right choices. I'm doing the right things.
Yeah, you are. Do you see my little poodle tail over here?
Yeah. Sneaking
So
in the
now
background.
the little stinky in the background. And it happens even with animals, right? When they get nervous or anxious or whatever, they want to be close to us, or when they feel our anxiety,
Mhm.
they want to be close to us. So even as I'm sitting here talking about trauma and I'm talking about leaning into pain points, my dog's like, oh, you need me?
Mhm.
He's sat by my feet.
Mhm.
His head's on my toes.
Oh,
Need me? You need me?
yep, I'm right here.
I'm right here.
Mhm.
And that's what we need. We just need somebody sometimes to come to us when they hear us talking, like my dog just did, and just help us ground and say, I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's so beautiful about when we can go into these relationships. And I can hear even in my head some clients going, but Kyle, right? If I start to feel safe, something bad's going to happen. What if I do feel safe? What if I start to trust this person? And what if they betray me in some other way? What do I do?
Mhm. Yeah. That's that brain part of us that says, the dinosaur's going to come again.
Mhm.
And the thing is that we're resilient. Bad things are going to happen. Um, I don't want them to.
No,
Bad things are going to happen. You're resilient. I'm resilient. I can heal. I can change.
Mhm.
I can love somebody.
Mhm.
I can be loved.
No,
Pain can't hold that.
no. And I think this is what's so powerful is like, I know a lot of us, like we've had this hurt and we're like, I don't really want to trust again. And I think about the couples where we worked on betrayal trauma, where there has been a sexual or emotional betrayal, right? And they go through the process of kind of healing and working on this. And there's still that part of them like, what if I can't ever trust again? And this is that risk of, can you be open to trusting this partner again after they've done clearly a lot of work with you? Because there is no guarantee. But can you be safe enough in the work the two of you have done to trust in this person again and to feel secure enough so this stuff can get healed? And that's like the really crunchy, hard part that can happen when we are processing betrayal trauma between two partners, but also when we have a really bad relationship and we're going into a new relationship of how do we take that risk to be open again? And I think, Kim, what you're really saying right now is look at the resilience of yourself, right? When you can really lean in and you can take that risk and you're not on guard all the time, you get to be open to the beauty of that love and that connection and feeling your sense of worth, which is what all of us needed. But if we're guarded, we're not going to let that in, and our brain's constantly going to be scanning our environment for any threats all the time, and we're not going to be able to rest.
Yeah. So turn to your partner, acknowledge them, share. Challenge yourself to look at this relationship differently than other ones. Let it inform you differently, and learn to rest.
Thanks for joining us. Today's key takeaways are: 1. Heal your raw spots. 2. Acknowledge your partner is safe. 3. Ask for what you need. And 4. Learn to trust again. Follow Kyle and Kim on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Be sure to sign up for the Secure Attachment Path course to explore your attachment style, uncover relationship patterns, and learn practical tools for building secure connections. Link to the course can be found in the show notes and on our website.